For International Peace Day, I have created this presentation recognizing some of the winners of the Nobel Peace Prize. Each year on September 21st, we celebrate the International Day of Peace. And in recognition of that day, I review here some of the winners of the Nobel Peace Prize. The award was established by Alfred Nobel, for whom the prize is named. As a Swedish engineer, Nobel established the award in his will when he passed away in 1896. Over the course of the 20th and 21st century, the award has been given almost every year with a few exceptions. For instance, during the time of World War II, no annual awards were presented. In addition to recognizing peace efforts, the award also recognizes efforts to reduce the proliferation of standing arms. Each year, the award is given in Oslo, Norway. Nominees are submitted by past recipients of the award and other noted persons, and a committee selected by the Norwegian Parliament reviews the applications. In this presentation, I review some of the winners of the Nobel Peace Prize, and I start here with Mother Teresa, who won the award in 1979. Mother Teresa originally was a Catholic nun from Albania who spent most of her life in Calcutta working among the poorest of the poor through her Order of the Missions of Charity, and who brought together people from around the world to devote efforts to helping the poor and to end world hunger. In 1964, during the Civil Rights Movement, Martin Luther King Jr. was given the award. At the time he learned of his winning of the award through a phone call from his wife. He was at that time in the hospital. Upon receiving the award in Norway, the presenters noted that King was among the first persons in the Western world to show us that a struggle can be won through nonviolent means, based on the philosophy of Mahatma Gandhi. He accepted the award in the name of thousands of people in the civil rights movement who represented what he termed, quote-unquote, a mighty arm of love. And he stated the award recognized that nonviolence is the answer to political and moral questions that we face in history, overcoming oppression and violence without resorting to violence. King split his award money among several organizations, including the Gandhi Society for Human Rights and the Congress on Racial Equality. In 1986, Elie Wiesel, a Holocaust survivor, was given the award. It is through his book Night that he recounts the experience of living in a concentration camp and the slaughter of many people during the time period of the Holocaust, including all of his family members. Upon surviving the Holocaust, he studied in France and eventually went on to become a journalist and a famous writer. He's written over 30 books that focus on human rights and activities to help those suffering from persecution based on religion, race, and national origin. At the time that he received the award, the Nobel Committee noted he had emerged, quote-unquote, as one of the most important spiritual leaders and guides in an age when violence, repression, and racism continue to characterize the world, end quote. And of course, many of these winners of the Nobel Peace Prize based their philosophy on nonviolence and the works of Dalai Lama, who was given the award in 1989. Dalai Lama was exiled from China in 1959 and spearheaded nonviolent opposition to China's occupation of Tibet. In selecting him as a recipient, the Nobel Committee emphasized he used his Buddhist beliefs to advocate for peaceful harmony and respect for all things living and universal responsibility that embraces man and nature. Upon receiving the award, he presented a plan for the restoration of peace and human rights in Tibet, including that the country become an ecologically stable and demilitarized zone. In 1993, the award was given jointly to two leaders from South Africa, Nelson Mandela and, at that time, Frederick William de Klerk, based on their approaches to ending apartheid in South Africa and laying a foundation for democracy in that country. Today in Cape Town, South Africa, you'll find these bronze statues that memorialize 4 people from the country that were given the award. And for each of them, the year they were given the award is noted here. Each of these people had a key role in ending apartheid or contributing to efforts to end apartheid in South Africa. Four United States presidents have received the awards, starting with Theodore Roosevelt in 1906, who received the award based on his role in bringing to an end the bloody war that raged between Japan and Russia, and for his continuing efforts to promote a world of peace and harmony. In 1919, Woodrow Wilson was recognized and actually received the award in 1920 after World War I ended. He received the award based on his 14 points program that outlined a design of humanity for international politics. In 2002, President Jimmy Carter received the award. Of the 4 United States presidents to receive the award, he's the only one that received it after serving in office. He was given the award based on his long-standing efforts of peaceful approaches to international negotiations, advancement of democracy and human rights, and promotion of economic and social justice. Among his accomplishments was broking a peace agreement between Israel and Egypt. After leaving office, he and his wife established the Carter Center, dedicated to the advancement of human rights and the alleviation of human suffering. Since then, both Carter and his wife have worked for the Habitat for Humanity to build homes and raise awareness about homelessness and contribute to efforts to fight disease around the world and to improve economic conditions in developing countries. In 2009, President Barack Obama received the award based on his efforts to strengthen international diplomacy and cooperation among people. When he was given the award, the Nobel Peace Committee cited Obama's promotion of nuclear non-proliferation and efforts to create a new world climate of international relations. In addition, I turn attention to some organizations that have won the Peace Prize, and I'd like to start with the Doctors Without Borders that were awarded the Peace Prize in 1999. This organization helps people worldwide by delivering emergency medical aid to those afflicted by conflict, epidemics, disaster, and exclusion from, in general, health care. The judges know the organization's pioneering humanitarian work on several continents and more than 80 countries and treating of tens of millions of people. The organization has also spoken out on the behalf of people they treat who are exposed to injustices. The award offered an opportunity for the organization to speak out on behalf of these oppressed people and to speak on the need for social justice for those that are afflicted. In 2012, the European Union was given the award and received it based on advancing the causes of peace and reconciliation, democracy, and human rights in Europe. Upon receiving the award, the European Union doubled the amount of the award to make it 2 million euros. As a result, more than 28,000 children have so far benefited from 4 emergency education projects selected during the years. As a lasting political legacy of the Nobel Peace Prize, the European Union has continued its mission. In 2013, the European Union doubled the resources to 4 million euros to cover both existing and new projects. The Organization for Chemical Weapons won the award in 2013. This organization works extensively to eliminate chemical weapons. In a press release about winning the war, the organization stated, "Disarmament figures predominantly in Alfred Nobel's will. The Norwegian Nobel Committee has, through numerous prizes, underlined the need to do away with nuclear weapons. By means of the present award to this organization, the committee is seeking to contribute to the elimination of nuclear weapons." Now I'm going to turn to some very recent recipients of the award. In 2014, the award went to 2 people, one of which was Malia. for her struggle against the suppression of children and young people and for the right of all children to have an education. At the time that she received the award in 2014, she was the youngest person to receive this award, and she has continued to fight for the rights of young girls to have an education in very difficult circumstances. Through her heroic struggle, she's become a leading spokesman for girls' rights to education. Okay, now I move on to Wonka Carmen, who at the time when she received the award, which was in 2011, was the youngest person, and at that time she was 32. She received the award based on her efforts devoted to issues in her native country of Yemen, where she was known as the Mother of Revolution, and she's led efforts for women's participation in peace building in her country and organized numerous nonviolent protests, which have swelled in size, leading in 2011 to the Arab Spring movements. As a journalist, she founded the Women's Journalists Without Chains organization, which advocates for the rights and freedoms and provides media skills to journalists. This organization produces reports on human rights abuses in Yemen and has documented more than 50 cases of attacks and unfair sentences against newspapers and writers to date. She's also spoken at the United Nations in her efforts to promote world peace. Okay, in 2014, Kailash Satyarthi won the Nobel Peace Prize. And here he's pictured in prayer. And he, in the Gandhi tradition, organized peaceful demonstrations focused on ending the exploitation of children by financial gain and contributed to the development of an international organization for children's rights. In 2011, 3 women won the award. Among them was President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia, and she was awarded it based on her leadership efforts of promoting peace, justice, and democratic rule. Her efforts to bring peace to people of her country led to spending more than a year in jail when a military dictatorship ran the country. Finally, in 2005, she was elected president and became the first female to lead an African country. In 2007, she received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from the United States based on her courage and commitment to expand freedom and to improve the lives of people of her country and across Africa. In 2010, she was named by Newsweek magazine as one of the world's top leaders. The third recipient in that year, 2011, was Limon Kobab, also from Liberia, another peace activist and social worker, and another advocate for women's rights. She is the founder and president of the Kawaba Peace Foundation Africa. She's best known for leading non-peace movement that brought together Christians and Muslim women to end Liberia's 14-year civil war that started in 2003. This achievement paved the way for the election of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf as president of Liberia. And now I want to end with Lee Sombab, who received the award in 2010. He has a long-standing history of fighting for human rights as an activist. He's a well-known Chinese literary critic, writer, professor, and human rights activist, calling for political reforms and the end to the Chinese style, communist style of leadership and communist rule. At the time of the award and ceremony, and to this day, until his dying day, which was last August, he remained in jail as a political prisoner. When he was awarded the prize in 2010, he was not well known in the People's Republic of China due to censorship. He's a veteran from the Tiananmen Square uprising in 1989 and co-authored the Charter 08 Manifesto, which resulted in his 11-year prison sentence. When he was given the award, the Chinese government actually tried to convince others to boycott the Nobel Peace Prize ceremonies. I do end here with this amazing individual. And I also want to note that although the International Day of Peace is held each year on September 21st, we should all hope that we could celebrate peace every day.